Hayoim atem yoitzim b'chodesh ha'aviv. You're leaving today in the spring. The Torah is giving a weather report. What is this, traffic and weather on the 8th? Why is the Torah highlighting the fact that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes us out of Mitzrayim, it's a nice day outside, the weather is good? You think the Jewish people cared what the weather was? They were enslaved for 210 years. They were in intense bondage for 86 years. They're being liberated. You think it was of any note, whether it was a nice day, a rainy day, a humid day, a cold day? They're happy to get out of the Gehenna of Mitzrayim. When my grandfather was liberated from the camps, after seeing the massacre of his family, you think it mattered what the weather was? They're just happy to get out of there. It was seemingly inconsequential what the weather was. We have a similar point of observation. When Yosef HaTzadik was kidnapped and being sold down to Mitzrayim, and the Yishmaelim who were carrying him down were Noisa'is Nichos V'tzar V'loit, carrying him down to Mitzrayim. Rashi points out, the Yishmaelim are not typically known for their Reach Toiv. So Rashi says, we see the reward for the tzaddikim, that Hashem ensures that there's a good aroma as Yosef is being taken down to Mitzrayim. And the question is, Yosef's world is coming crashing down. Yosef was on top of the universe. He's learning Torah from Yaakov Avinu. He's Yaakov Avinu's Ben Zekunim. Zekunim stands for Zraim, Kodshim, Nashim, Yeshuais, Moyed. He's teaching him the whole Torah. By the way, Sfas Emes points out, what about Taros? Taros you have to learn on your own. Taros is referred to Das. That's why Yosef sends back to Yaakov, Yayin Yashan Shadas Sekenim Noicha Himenu. But Yosef is on the top of the world. He's learning with his father. And now he's kidnapped and he's being sent down to the most degenerate society in the world. You think it mattered to him whether his captors, whether his hijackers smelled good or not, had good cologne on? Everybody's seen the images of the Nebuch, the hostages who were being carried away on motorcycles, and vehicles, and being held. You think it mattered to them as they're being kidnapped whether their captors smelled good or not? It's interesting, my son showed me in the Chidusher Be'el Yabarach Ala Torah that he brings that there are many, many different approaches to answer this question by Yosef. And each yeshiva had its own approach. Like Slobodka had an approach that went to its main theme of Gadlus Ha'adam, and Telz had an approach, and there's an approach in the Sifrei Chasidus. Each group in Klal Yisrael that has a certain hashkafa understood this episode according to their approach. What the approach that resonates with me very deeply is the approach of Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz. Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz taught that it wasn't the good smell per se, but the good smell put into context for Yosef what was taking place. See, Yosef's world was coming crashing down. He was in danger. Maybe Hashem is forsaking him. Maybe Hashem was abandoning him. Yosef might throw in the towel. He might give up hope. Chas v'shalom. No. The good smell meant the Rebbeinu Shem's with him. It was a bright spot. It meant HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with Yosef. Hashem's not abandoning him. Hashem is taking him on a journey. The Rebbeinu Shem is holding his hand. And although Yosef doesn't understand what's in store, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with him and bringing him. And that changed, put into perspective the whole event of what was happening to Yosef. I recently heard an interview with two soldiers who were speaking about when they entered Gaza after October 7th. And they smelled horrific smells. They smelled explosions, burning, combustion, fire, and they smelled burning flesh, and they were frightened, they were scared to the core. But as their tank is heading into Gaza, all of a sudden a otherworldly smell enveloped them, and they smelled a very strong citrus smell. And they realized their tank was driving over a lemon orchard, and it was crushing thousands of lemons, and it produced this heavenly aroma. And they said they felt that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was with them, like Yosef HaTzadik being taken down to Mitzrayim. And I was very moved by that. Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, if you really love someone and you want to give them a gift, you don't just plop the gift down in front of them. You make sure the gift is wrapped nicely. Does the wrapping paper add retail value to the gift? No. The gift is still wrapped the same amount. However, what the wrapping paper does is, the wrapping paper adds a touch of love. It means you're not just giving the gift because you have to, you're giving it out of love. And when you wrap it with a bow, it's a touch of love. Sometimes you could get away, even if the present is not so valuable, but with enough wrapping and a beautiful bow, it actually it adds a tremendous amount. Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, also, this is brought in the Sefer Darach Sicha of Reb Simcha Zisa Broida. Hashem was giving Klal Yisrael the greatest gift in our history. He was taking us out of Mitzrayim. And certainly that gift has tremendous value. But Hashem didn't want Klal Yisrael to think, oh, you know why God's giving us this gift? He has to. He promised Avraham Avinu. He has to. He has to keep his word. Maybe God's taking us out. Maybe He doesn't love us. He has to fulfill His promise. So Hashem said, watch, I'm going to wrap the gift in a touch of love. Not only am I going to take you out, I'm going to take you out in a beautiful season. The weather will be pleasant. That will show I'm not taking you out because I have to. I'm taking you out because I love you. This was the special touch of love of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Hayoim atem yoitzeim b'chodesh ha'aviv. Wishing everyone a good Tavach.